But we start with the latest transfer news. Manchester City may be edging closer to signing a replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, joins me for the very latest. Great to see you, Kaveh. What is the latest on City's pursuit of Florian Wirtz?
Well, look, he is their number one target. He is the player Pep Guardiola has identified as the long-term replacement for Kevin De Bruyne. The only problem was that it looked like he was going to Bayern Munich. We've seen so often in the past, players who rise to the top in German football who don't play for Bayern Munich end up playing for Bayern Munich. So Sky Germany were telling us that, look, Bayern Munich are the favourites to get him. Yes, of course, we're aware that Manchester City are interested as well. Then last night, we reported that Manchester City were not giving up on him. And in fact, they had verbal agreement on the framework of a deal to sign him from Bayer Leverkusen. And this morning, we've reported that actually he flew in to England yesterday, flew in to the northwest with his father, who's his agent, and also his mother for meetings with Manchester City. And that tells you how advanced this deal potentially is, because obviously he wouldn't be coming to England if he wasn't interested in joining Manchester City, and also Bayer Leverkusen wouldn't be giving him permission to fly into England if they didn't have some kind of deal agreed verbally with Manchester City. Now, the big question is, how much will he cost? Could it be a record transfer? Well, to begin with, Bayer Leverkusen were asking for around 150 million euros. That is 126 million pounds. Now, I know Bayern Munich are a very, very big club, but they are not going to be putting 150 million euros on the table. Do I think Manchester City potentially will spend 126 million pounds? Well, that would be a record for them. I think the most they've ever spent on a player has been Jack Grealish, who cost 100 million pounds. There you can see their other record signings. Could we get close to the British record, which was Caicedo, I think, when he moved from Brighton to Chelsea for around 115 million? I'm not sure. The latest information I got this morning is that Manchester City were hoping to do a deal for around 100 million euros, which is, 85 million pounds?
Quite a lot below Leverkusen's valuation.
Exactly. But I think the key thing is that Bayer Leverkusen would much rather sell to Manchester City than Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich are their rivals. Historically, they keep taking players from any of their rivals who start having a little bit of success. Jonathan Tah, their centre-back, it looks like he's going from Bayer Leverkusen on a free transfer to Bayern Munich as well. So I think if it was left to Bayer Leverkusen, they would be saying to Florian Wirtz, please, go to Manchester City. That is the best option for you.
Look, Dean Huijsen has been sensational for Bournemouth this season, attracting interest from some of the biggest clubs around Europe. Real Madrid now the favourites, do we think?
Yeah, I mean, we were reporting a couple of weeks ago that if Real Madrid came in for him, then they would be his number one choice. And last night we were able to confirm that Real Madrid have actually now made their move. So it's up to the player to decide what he wants to do. But the latest information we have is that the race is still very open. Those are the words that were used to us. Still a very open race. He's got this £50 million release clause in his contract. Bournemouth signed him last summer from Juventus in a deal worth up to £15 million. But obviously his representatives wanted to make sure that if he did do very, very well in the Premier League and bigger clubs came in for him, there would be the possibility of him leaving, which is why he has this release clause. And clubs, for instance, like Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, again, have all been interested. I still think Chelsea are in with a chance of getting him because his representatives have very, very close links with Chelsea and they've done a lot of deals with Chelsea. But it's the old cliche in football, isn't it? If Real Madrid come in for you, it's very, very difficult for players to say no.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that Manchester United are in the market for a striker. It hasn't quite clicked with Rasmus Højlund for them just yet. Liam Delap certainly hasn't looked out of his depth in the Premier League this year, one of the shining lights for Ipswich. Where are we now with him?
Well, look, I think at the moment with Liam Delap, Manchester United obviously want to sign him. He's got this release clause as well, £30 million, because Ipswich have been relegated. I think he's happy to move to Old Trafford, even though they're not doing particularly well at the moment. But he's also on Chelsea's shortlist of striker targets for this summer. And Chelsea are making a big move to sign him as well. I think he will have a choice of where to move. And you would think his representatives would be saying, hold on, just wait until next week. We've got the Europa League final, we've got the conference final, we'll have the end of the Premier League season as well. We'll know if United are in the Champions League, if Chelsea are in the Champions League, that would be the best time to make your decision. But like Dean Huijsen, he's another player who will have a big choice to make in the next